Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. BBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
And so also I want to welcome everybody to drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people. If you're not Black and intelligent, you may want to get out because this is not the place for you if you're not trying to be smarter and better and stronger and more capable as a result of these discussions. Please don't forget, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done that, and hit the notification bell so I can notify you whenever we go live. Now let me tell you what I read today that I thought was really interesting. I thought it was worth discussing, because I think that there's a lot of misinformation out here on this topic. Anthony Smith, how are you? Good to see you. Sanaa Lathan, who's a very talented actress, made an interesting point about Black women and marriage. She basically says that she's sort of rebelling against this pressure that a lot of Black women feel to get married. She says that this is not productive. This is not a good thing. And and she uses language that I think is a little interesting. I don't know how I feel about this language entirely, but basically she keeps talking about I'm choosing me. I put myself first, and things like that. Now, first of all, let me just start from the beginning in terms of, my first reaction to some of this. One thing that I've learned over time about things like marriage is that typically when somebody is Sanaa's age and as beautiful and attractive as she is, there's usually a reason why they're not married. Same thing with men, ladies. If a man looks like he got it all going on and he seems like Mr. Right and he's met hundreds of women in his life and he hasn't, settled down, there's usually a reason, right? It doesn't make him a bad person. It doesn't mean something's wrong with that person. It just means that there's usually either a deliberate decision to not get married, or there's something wrong with that person. That person may be screwed up. They may be really selfish. And so, unfortunately, when I hear Sanaa use language like I choose me first, me first, me first, me first, that right there tells me that you're probably not cut out for marriage, because marriage is not about me. Marriage is usually about we. We meaning me and my partner. We meaning me and my partner and the kids. We meaning me and my partner and my partner's family and my family, right? We becomes the operative word in marriage. Believe me, I'm getting married and I know the word we has to be used far more than me. If I'm using a lot of me's and very few we's, I ain't gonna be married for too long, because that's a beautiful Black woman out there that's gonna marry me on July 11th would not be marrying me. So that right there, that language that I choose me first, I and me, and words like that kind of tell you a little bit about the fact that, for her own reasons, no disrespect to her, of course, that she's sort of saying I'm taking a non-compromising approach to things. Like, you get on my agenda or there is no agenda, right? You do it my way or there is no way. You do it the way I want to, or we just won't be doing this, right? And it's fine. It is what it is. So I think it's important to understand, especially for younger people who don't understand how this stuff works, or who think that relationships just kind of happen and that it's just a matter of luck of the draw and you just lucked out and met Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. It ain't like that. There are people that have strategic, specific life choices that increase or reduce their likelihood of tying into long-term relationships. It's no different from business. People I know who, like, you look at Dr. George C. Fraser. Dr. George C. Fraser comes into drboycetv.com once a month. He's the networking guru of America. He wrote the book Success Runs in Our Race, which is required reading at every HBCU in America. And George Fraser has a lot of economic marriages with people, where he has a lot of economic relationships with individuals that he does business with. And it's not a coincidence. It's not like George lucked out and formed these relationships just by happenstance. It's because he has a specific way he approaches everything. He approaches everyone. He talks heavily about coming together. He talks about how the fist is stronger than the fingers individually. He talks about forming webs and connectivity and how that's important for business, right? That's why George has a lot of economic marriages, is because he seeks out economic marriages and economic relationships, which aren't much different from romantic relationships, right? There's a way you approach things. And the same thing, again, in business, if you come into everything with an I and a me kind of language or kind of approach, you're not going to form a lot of partnerships. You're going to be doing a lot of things solo. So again, no disrespect to anybody who does that, but just I think it's important to just understand that there's a determinism there where you can decide where you want to be in that whole spectrum of things. And do me a favor, if you're watching this, I want to remind you guys, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. And also, don't forget, we also, in case you're sick of Facebook and Twitter and all these racist platforms, we actually have something called Black Enough, which is a social media platform for people like us. So if you are Black enough, join us at Black Enough, and we can, hang out and talk, and you can find people in your area that you can connect to, and it's really good. The conversations are unfiltered. People can talk about whatever they want. Now, now here's another interesting fact, though. This is another factoid that I think is very important to understand in terms of how white supremacy and racism have disrupted the ecosystem amongst Black people. For those who I'm talking, and really, just to be honest with you, I tend to talk the most to people that are Black people looking for Black people. If you are Black and you're looking for a Black queen or you're looking for a Black king, raise your hand. Say something in the chat. Say Black kings only, Black queens only, because that's what we do. It doesn't mean we discriminate or we hate other people. It just means I believe that the Black family is strengthened when Black people put each other first and love each other first, and just put Blackness as kind of a priority. It doesn't mean other people are bad. It just means that's my preference. I told you guys a long time ago, even before I even thought about getting married, I said, if I ever tell you I'm getting married, it won't be, I will never sit before you and say, oh my God, I met Becky Jenkins and she's the best woman that I've ever met. She's my milk and magnesia. She's the apple of my eye, right? You would never hear me say that. Not because I hate white people. I don't hate anybody. I don't have time for hating people. Hate is a heavy burden to carry around emotionally, but I just love Black people. Black love does not mean white hatred. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, please say something in the comments and let me know that you get what I'm saying, so I know that I'm not by myself. Black love does not mean white hatred, period. But again, I love the Black woman. That's just, it's very important for me to say that, because I think that we have these big platforms. We have an obligation to use those platforms to support the ideas that we believe in and support the people that we care about. So Black women, I do care about you, and I do feel that you're getting the short end of the stick in a multitude of ways, not just in terms of all the Black men out here that have been trained to be disrespectful to Black women. You ain't supposed to be running around calling your women bitches and hoes and all this other stuff. I think David Banner, actually, this is why David and I get along so well. David Banner said you can tell the success of a community by how they treat their women. You can tell the success of a community by how they treat their women. So if you want to understand at least one of the reasons why the Black community is struggling, it's because you have a lot of little bitchy boys out here who think that masculinity means being disrespectful and snotty and nasty toward Black women. And I don't, and that's the problem. Like, even when I proposed to Alicia and I shared the video, I saw a couple of people in there that really didn't understand why a man would ever want to publicly proclaim his love for a Black woman. They were like, that's simping, and what's wrong with this is crazy. What is this crazy stuff? And I'm like, no, this is what people have done for tens of thousands of years. Civilizations, when they honor their women, you do that publicly and you say, this is my queen. I want you all to know who my queen is. And that's okay. That's what you're supposed to do. But because you're bitchy boys and because you were never taught how to be men, you don't understand the importance of the woman in the ecosystem of your very survival on this earth. So anyway, moving on, hit the thumbs up button, please. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live. One thing that is a challenge for Black women right now, this is a reality that we must fix, is that studies show that, here's the deal. Women don't want broke ass men. I'm sorry, ladies. I know y'all, people want to act like, marriage is all about love and that's it. And as long as you got love, you don't need nothing else. That's bullshit. Like, a more realistic assessment is when they have songs like Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent. Doesn't mean that you're going to date a horrible man just because he helps you pay the bills. Doesn't mean that all you care about is a man's money. What it means is that you have these levels of needs that you have, and can't nobody focus on really loving you, having sex with you, getting into bed with you if they can't feed their children, or they can't get the bills paid, or they're about to get evicted. I don't know about y'all. Ladies, tell me, if do you feel less or more sexually aroused when you know you might get evicted that day? Like, does that really make you want to lay down and get in the bed with a man if you know that that man is there and he's got money in his pocket, or he's an able-bodied working man and he can help you out in terms of keeping your children off the street? Are you really going to want to lay down and have sex with him, or are you going to be like, well, let's take care of the bills first, then we can do all the other stuff, right? Let's get that out of the way, and then we can be romantic, right? So ultimately, women do care about a man's ability to provide financially. I know that they lie to y'all and they put Pharrell in a big dress and they tell you that that's the new masculinity. That's not the new masculinity. That's the old homosexuality. Pharrell is not the new masculinity. He's the old gay lifestyle. That's all it is. It's okay to be gay. If you're gay, that's cool. We love you too. Come on in. You're welcome to this platform as well. But the reality is that the new masculinity is actually the old masculinity. Ain't nothing really changed too much in that area, even when they tell you that that masculine black men are somehow a threat or being labeled as predators and all that stuff. I fight against that, because what they're doing is they're trying to make you weak. They're trying to break your families into pieces so that all you can do is go beg them to take care of you. All you can do is go beg your oppressor to handle business for you, because you can't handle your own business, because you don't kick all your men out the community and you know sent them all to prison or whatever, called the white man to come and get them and kill them. And now you're sitting there and you are vulnerable and you are defenseless, and they can come in and they can terrorize you. That's what's going on right there. So one statistic that you should know about is that actually studies show that for every 100 black women, there are only 51 employed black men. There are only 51 black men who are employed or who have income, adequate income for every 100 black women. So what you have is you have literally the number of black women who want to get married doubles the number of black men who are in what many would traditionally consider to be a marriable position. I mean, sure, you can marry the broke ass man who works at Burger King or who doesn't have, who can't even pay his own child support. That's fine. I'm not dissing that at all. But what I'm saying is that most women don't prefer that, and it makes it more difficult to find a suitable mate. So ultimately, that's one of the things that's kind of worked against black women. Where does that come from? Well, a lot of it comes from mass incarceration and the consistent effort to marginalize the black man, which has happened all throughout American history, right? The goal in America for hundreds of years has always been to either keep the black man feminine or to keep him as a little boy, one or the other. Either keep him sweet and soft, or keep him as a childlike, right? That's why you see rappers behaving like children, or the Migos rappers were riding those tricycles on the Mountain Dew commercial. Tricycles are non-threatening. Tricycles are what children do. That's what, these guys are almost 30 and they're riding tricycles. There's a reason for that kind of imagery of the black man. And then also there's a reason why they put images out there like Pharrell wearing the big banana dress, talking about this is the new masculinity. Because what they're saying is, hey, black man, look, if you come in here with this masculine stuff, if you come in here as a conqueror, if you come in here as a king, we don't want you here. We're not gonna let you in. You will not get movie roles. You will not get the job. You will not get the promotion. You will get fired on your day off. But if you come in here and you wear a banana dress, then we'd love to have you. If you come in and you sweet and soft, then we're happy to have you because you're not threatening. We can be buddies with you because we're not afraid of you anymore, right? So what that means for the black man, though, it circles back to you. It circles back to personal accountability for us, because only black people are going to save black people. So the personal accountability angle for us is that we're not just going to sit around complaining about what white people will and will not do. What we must do is think about what we will and will not do. What we must do is really prepare our boys to fight in a world that does not want masculine or strong black men. We must prepare our boys to get out here and start businesses and build, empires, right? So that they don't have to go and beg for a job. We must prepare our boys to become bosses and not bitches, right? We must prepare our boys to become leaders and not followers. We must prepare our boys to become winners and not losers. We must prepare our boys to be men and not little boys. And we must prepare our boys to be strong and not sweet and soft, and not feel like they have to be sweet and soft with their tail between their legs in order to get an opportunity. That's extremely important. Why does that matter? Well, because in the next generation, your daughter is going to be looking for a husband. And if all the men she's seeing are sweet, soft, and feminine, then she's going to be like, damn, I can't find a man. Go to most college campuses right now. Go to most white liberal college campuses right now. I've spoken on hundreds of these campuses. And one thing I always pay attention to is when I meet the students in the Black Student Union, I always pay attention to who the different students are and their personality types. I look for the alpha males and the alpha females. And then I'll look at all the guys, and a few things I notice on a consistent basis is, one, amongst the student body leadership, they tend to be dominated by women. The women are the ones who are usually taking the reins. Every now and then there might be, for every 3 or 4 women, there would be like one heterosexual male, and then there'd be a couple of either beta males or gay men or gay men. No disrespect to any people who are in those categories, but that's what you would tend to see. So a typical situation, I'm thinking about one school I went to, they had about 5 women that were running everything. Then they had one guy, and I said, okay, I can see those women. They all probably are trying to. 2 or 3 of those women have probably slept with him because he's got that alpha energy that attracts women. And then I saw another guy, and I said, no, he's short and dumpy, and he's not that smart, so they're probably not interested in him. And then a couple of guys were, they look like they might be like Pharrell wearing the banana dress, right, on the cover of GQ magazine. Like for real, they look like they would be happy to wear the banana dress. No disrespect, but that's what it was, right? And I thought about that, and I said, this is an example of an imbalanced ecosystem. These women, all the women in here that I'm looking at, that most of whom seem to want at some point to find a husband, are not going to find a husband amongst their peers, right? White people can find husbands and wives amongst their peers. They're like, oh, I went to Stanford and I met Chad in my sophomore year, and he became a dentist, and we've been married for 25 years, right? Black women can't always tell that same story because you don't have enough men prepared to be husbands for these women. So I have a friend. I love Black people to stay on code, and I have a friend who got a really important position as a dean at an important university, right? I'm not going to tell you which school or nothing, like, because I ain't trying to put nobody on blast, but she got a really important job. And one thing that she said is, she said, oh, I'm going to get some black people in here. They're going to be African American. We ain't going to just get a bunch of people from Africa. We're going to bring in African Americans, and we're going to bring in men, because these black women coming through this program are going to need to find husbands. And I listened to it and I just smiled. I said, she gets it. She gets it. She's not doing a watered down version of diversity where you say that, bringing in an African American is the same as bringing in somebody from another country, or bringing in a gay person, or bringing in a white woman, right? No, diversity, blackness is not diversity. Blackness is not the same as diversity. African Americanism is not the same as multiculturalism. Those are 2 different things, right? And also, she understands the importance of the black man's role in the strengthening of the black community. Anybody who's ever trained you to forget about the importance of the black male in the development and the strength of the black community is lying to you. They are hurting you. They are not your friend. They are not your ally. They're trying to put you in a vulnerable position where you're going to get screwed, and your son's going to get shot by the cops because he ain't even got a daddy that's going to go down to the police station and demand answers. Your child's going to get abused by the white school teacher from the suburbs who's teaching at the inner city school because they know that that kid does not have a father that's going to come in there and pull rank whenever you're mistreating their child, right? You're going to see all kinds of situations happen to you that would not happen if you have a man and a woman working side by side to protect the home. There are a million things. I'm gonna tell you like this. So let me use myself as a personal example, not to put myself on a pedestal, because we don't deserve any pedestals. I reject all pedestals, right? But what I will say is this: I'm marrying a very strong black woman, very strong black woman. She has a PhD. She does not need me to pay the bills. She can handle damn near anything on her own. But there are areas where we know that a man and a woman working together is better than a man trying to do it by himself or a woman trying to do it by herself. We just know this, right? And some of it fits into areas that would be seen as politically incorrect. She knows, and I know, that I'm not going to really be comfortable sitting in the kitchen all day cooking dinner and thinking about dinner. I'm not thinking about dinner. I'm thinking about working. Right, but she thinks about dinner. Oh, what are we gonna eat tonight? Oh, I think it's gonna be Cheap Chicken Tuesday, or we're gonna have Taco Tuesday. That's what it is, and then Cheap Chicken Monday, or right, like she's thinking about this while she's at work, like what she wants to feed her family, right? Or if we come into or Christmas is coming, she'll be thinking about the decorations and what everybody's gift is gonna be, and really being the mother of the house, right? But then there are other times where when it's time to take out the garbage. I take out the garbage. She doesn't want to touch the garbage. She thinks the garbage is disgusting. When she went to Guyana on a Fulbright, she got a Fulbright. She was the only faculty member in the history of her school, her university, to get a Fulbright. So she's a bad sister. She was going to Guyana, a third world country. And we knew from the jump that there was no way you're going to go to Guyana by yourself with those kids. Like that, that's not going to happen. So because I am a boss, I'm not a little boy, I'm not an employee, I'm a boss. I said, I'm going to move my operation to Guyana for 6 months so I can be there to protect you. And she was gracious enough to say, thank you so much for coming to Guyana, because I thought that I in my mind, I probably thought I could do this by myself. But she said, there's no way me and the kids could have paid for everything without your help. There's no way me and the kids could have gotten everything over there without your help. There's no way me and the kids could have made it over there without your help. So sometimes we put these ideas into men and women that you can just do it all by yourself. You don't need no help. And you run out there saying, oh, I can do it all by myself, when really you really do need help. Well, really what's going to happen is you're going to think you can do it all by yourself, and you're going to do it wrong. You're going to wonder why you're doing it all by yourself, but your daughter gets molested by R. Kelly down the street because her mom was working 3 jobs and ain't nobody around to watch her and make sure it's going to happen. When she goes off to work all day, I'm there watching the kids. I'm watching the girls. Ain't no grown-ass man gonna sneak up in the house and do nothing with those little girls because I'm right there and I'm ready to punch him in the face, right? So the point that I'm getting to is that black men and black women need each other, right? We need each other. And if you don't believe that, then this is not a good channel for you. You should probably go to another channel. I'm sure there's plenty of white feminists who will tell you that the black man is garbage. I'm sure there's plenty of white feminists who will tell you that the black man is responsible for all of your problems. I'm sure there's a white feminist out there that will tell you that, that men being feminine is just as good as men being masculine, right? That you need more feminine men in your community than you need masculine men. I'm sure there's plenty of white feminists who will tell you that all masculinity from black men is a threat, that it's a bad thing, right? I'm sure you're going to get people that will feed into your poison, whatever poison's in your brain. You got people that will feed the poison and continue to get you sucking from the white supremacy crack pipe and leave you in a position where you walk around telling the whole world you're strong and bold and capable, but really each night you're confused, you're lonely, you're disappointed, and you're mad because you feel that black men have let you down, when really to some extent you may have played a part in that process, right? So I'm not saying this just to black women, though. I'm also saying this to black men, especially those who act like we don't need black women. Like, I can't tell you, how imbalanced my life would be if I didn't have black women around. Black women don't just sustain me in my pending marriage, which is going to happen July 11th. All of you are invited, by the way. I'll let you guys know the details very soon, but it's going to be July 11th. But black women don't just hold it down for me in my family and in my marriage. Black women hold it down for me in business. I have black women that have held it down for me in other social areas involving distant relatives. We're talking about grandma, mama, daughter, sister, business partners, wife, all of that, right? So this idea, if I had to live my life without black women around, it would not be a life at all, right? It would not be a life at all. So everything that I say, when I say to black women, like, look, you need men, like, we matter, we're very important, I would say the same thing to the men as well. So anyway, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, like I said, the wedding's July 11th. We're actually getting married in the Rockefeller Chapel on the University of Chicago campus on the south side of Chicago. That was a great compromise location because she's an alumnus of the University of Chicago, actually 3rd generation. And she loved the chapel, and she thinks it's beautiful. And also it's big enough to hold as many people as we want to invite, because I told her I wanted to invite people from the community to come into the church if they want to. So if you want to fly into the wedding, feel free. It's going to be July 11th, 2020. And I wanted it there because I wanted to be in the south side of Chicago. I also wanted it to be big enough to allow people into the community. So that was the place we selected. Also, don't forget, I'll be in New York City in a few days on the 27th, 10 days from now. If you want to come to the investment seminar, there's an investment seminar we're going to host. It's 8 hours long. It's a great opportunity for you to learn everything there is to know about investing, to network with other Black wealth builders, to be part of an investment club, whatever it is you want to do. We can help you do that. So feel free to go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. And so the other thing I will say about this in terms of Sanaa Lathan and her comments about Black women in marriage is that if you want to understand something and how to do something well, what my advice to you would be is to read a book about it. There are books out there that will teach you everything you want to know about anything you want to try to accomplish. So if you are in business and you want to try to figure out how to get a customer, read a book about it. If you want to figure out how to get into shape, go read a book about it. If you want to figure out how to find the right partner, read a book about it. You know, you want to figure out how to find a husband or a wife, read a book about it. Is Candace Owens invited to this wedding? You know, I don't actually hate Candace Owens. I mean, I'm not going to get with her on the Trump stuff, but you know, me holding Trump against her would be the same as me holding Hillary Clinton against, you know, my other black friends. Like, I don't really care who you voted for. I consider that to be a non-issue. To me, if you love black people and you are, and you're whatever it is you're doing, if you feel like you're doing it because it's going to better the community, I'm going to support you. I'm going to be fine with you. I'm not going to go and tell Candace I think it's good that she's backing up Trump. I think it makes her look a little silly, but I don't get caught up in that. I don't believe the Democratic and Republican parties have a right to define what it means to be black. They do not have a right to tell me who's black and who's not. That's, to me, another form of white supremacy. That's no different from Rwanda when they separated the Hutus and the Tutsis and told you, you know, who was blacker than who and who was this and who was that. I don't believe that. I don't believe outside forces have the right to divide us. I think we should take it on an individual basis. So I don't have an issue with anybody's political position in terms of who you voted for, because I don't think any of that's going to matter when it comes to the black community prospering or not, right? So I pay attention to the things that matter. All right, so last but not least, let me just remind you guys, if you want to join Black Enough is our social media platform. This is where the conversation keeps going. So feel free to go join blackenough.com right now. Also, if you're watching online on YouTube anywhere, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and also please hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we go live. I'm about to go exercise. We're about to go put in some more miles. Thank you guys who encouraged us in my first marathon. We made it through the storm. I was very proud. It was very difficult. It hurt like hell, and I can say that I owe it to Alicia for helping me get through that. And so she's looking at me right now, and I'm looking back at her, and I'm saying thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you pushed me to do this, because I wouldn't have done it on my own. There's no way I could have done it on my own. And that's what I was telling everybody, babe, is that, you know, I think, you know, I think I get sad when I hear people reject the idea that a man needs a woman, like black women need black men, you know, because so what I do is I remind them, like, well, no, black men need black women, right? And I know for a fact that all this running I've been doing, like, there's no way I would have done. Like, I mean, maybe theoretically I could have done it on my own, but, you know, it's almost like somebody gives you a ride 20 miles across town, and, you know, and you're like, thank you, I couldn't have got there without you. And then somebody else could say, well, no, you could have walked, but it's 20 miles. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could have walked, but you probably wouldn't have, right? So yeah, I could have done it on my own, but I probably wouldn't have. So your support was like instrumental in terms of pushing me to do better in that area. And I'm really glad I did it. And now I really like running a little bit. I don't marathons. I don't like 26 miles, but it's great because, you know, before that, I mean, I was like really getting fatter every year, and I couldn't stop it. Like, every year I was just getting more and more obese. So let's see, where's Nuri's full vid, Doc? Shajan, you can actually check out the Nuri Muhammad full video. Go to drboycetv.com, or you can look up Boyce Watkins and Nuri Muhammad. Nuri Muhammad, bad brother, brilliant black man, came on the channel not too long ago, and just tore it up. So if you look up my name and his name together on YouTube, just search for it, you'll find the video. Also today, which is the 17th, I will have Dr. Claude Anderson on for Powernomics Thursday. But there's like, me and him have probably done 50, 60 videos at least by now. So you can go look up our names together, and you'll find all different kinds of great conversations we have on Powernomics. So anyway, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, don't forget drboycenewyork.com if you want to join us in New York. And finally, last but not least, if you actually want your children to get ahead economically, we have a Black Business School for Children at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Love you guys.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10, 3 PhDs, that we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.